Welcome, everyone! Let's get right into the news!
Did you say gloves? I'm pretty sure he just said gloves.
Let's get right into your gloves! Bend over, Joel. We're doing an exam!
Oh no, this time again.
Welcome to The Ball, our weekly show, where we go ahead and review all the comics for you. I am one of your hosts, Benny the Comicstorian, and I haven't slept in about 24 hours. Joining me today is Sal from Comic Pop, Joel from Cape Joel, and Caitlin McAtee from the land of unicorns known as Sea Monster.
He's become the dude from Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, hasn't he?
Robin Leach?
Yeah, he's become Robin Leach.
Monster.
I'm Robin Leach. Welcome to the pool in the back of the Wickedy Pool house.
That is, I like that hair. You should have that for the rest of the show.
That's that for forever, though.
It's Squiggy Benny.
No,
Now it's Beatles Benny.
no, honey, please, no. Please
Oh no,
change
Benny's
your
got the symbiote.
name.
Guys, I'm feeling very emo. I'm going to dance.
Yeah. Benny, don't accidentally punch your wife with
I
because
feel
the
like
symbiote.
I feel like I'm reading an old Jonan Vasquez comic.
Oh.
Let's do this. Look, ready? And
Ooh.
What?
Now you're
the-
Ultimate Peter Parker with the...
no. Oh, I was gonna go with the guy from Psycho in the remake.
Or the
Oh, Vince
man
Vaughn as
from
Norman
Charlie
Bates. Ugh.
Yeah, how weird is that Vince Vaughn was in a remake of Psycho?
That was, I think, everybody talks about reboots and remakes. That's the worst one.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
According to Brando Vader, my hair is horrifying. So anyway, I'm going to do all the readings like this today.
Let's do it up.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
No one gave me cocaine. I've been chugging coffee all day.
Copy.
You thought it was sugar, but I actually switched it out. That's my great revenge. I switched
All
to
right,
sugar.
guys, let's go ahead and take it from the top. What's gonna happen today is we're gonna talk about all the comic books. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read them all off.
We're gonna fight them in the ditches and on the hills.
No, no,
Fight
we're
with
having
edges.
Dean.
This is Normandy.
Strap in, guys. We're over Normandy tonight. Benny, you
Wow.
so crazy.
That was some Woody Woodpecker on
Yeah.
meth bullshit.
You want to get nuts? Let's get
Woodpecker had a
nuts.
baby with
Let's
Jared
get
Leto.
nuts.
I think that's about what you did.
All right, guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna read out the comic books like we always do, but we're gonna do it quick, fast, and furious, and I can't read your comments while we're doing this. So please don't complain in the comments because I won't see it, so it won't matter. And you know what? Actually, complain all you want during this
That's
segment.
the time to do it.
I'm not going to read it. Anyway, we have Blue Beetle Rebirth, Star Wars, Kingsway West, Batman Detective Comics, The Death of Tim Drake, I Am Foretelling the
Supposedly.
Future, Archie, Civil War II, Captain Marvel, Action Comics Outcast. We have Civil War II, Steve Rogers, Captain America, 4001 and Rye. Caitlin would let you know that she has currently read Blue Beetle. Wonder Woman, the continuing storyline of Cheetah. Although now she's not as hot as she was when she was a naked Cheetah girl, now she has a smushed face. We also have Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. We have Over the Garden Wall, Batgirl, Sombra, Civil War II, The New Avengers, that one I skipped. Harley's Little Black Book has finally returned with issue number 4, where she goes back in time and meets herself. It's probably a dream
From an
come true for
alternate
Caitlin.
universe.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's Harley on Harley on Harley on Harley on Harley action.
Harley squared.
Harley action. Triple
Anyway, we've got Chew. We've got Deadpool 17 Civil War. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Annual 1, which I don't understand how that even works because they haven't been out a year yet. But anyway.
I know. My store was sold out of that one. I was pissed, and I haven't had a chance to get it digital yet. I hear it's great, though.
Deathstroke number 1, Moon Girl and Devil, Dinosaur Munchkin, Flash, Barry Allen's Day Off. We have Deja Forest, The Extraordinary X-Men, Hal Jordan, and the Green Lanterns, Grim Tales of Terror, Drax, Shadows of the Vampire, Dungeons and Dragons.
It's like I don't know what to say. I'm just I'm in. I have become a viewer now. I am just in trance watching.
International Iron Man, Teen Titans, Six Pack and the Dog Wielder, Betty Veronica,
Welder.
Comics Double Digest, Ultimate Spider-Man, The Sinister Six, Tomb Raider, Hellblazer, Nighthawk, Weird Detective, Titans Issue 2, Miss Fury, Doctor Strange Prelude, Wacky Raceland, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hellcat, Godzilla, Rage Across Time. By the way, read that one. It's literally about different groups in time and how Godzilla saved the day. Clean Room number 11, Venom Space Knight, She-Wolf, Lucifer, Department H, Star Wars The Force Awakens number 3, Red Thorn, Usagi Yojimbo, that rabbit that was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I don't know who it is.
And
She's
other
not
things.
into poetry. The Uncanny Inhumans Annual number 1, Astronauts in Trouble, Scarlet, Lake of Fire, Winona.
Rock on, Brother Nero.
Amazing Spider-Man: The Amazing Grace Part, the volume, the collection. Invincible 130. By the way, that series has been officially canceled. They will be ending it. Tank Girl is finally back with issue number 4. Deadpool Volume 3, Deadpool vs. Sabretooth. Snotgirl number 2, an amazing story that I think everyone here should read, except Sal, because it is only Brian O'Malley.
No.
The funny thing about Brian O'Malley is he's a Canadian with an Irish last name, and yet he's Asian. That always amazed me.
Faith issue number 2, The Defenders, Epic Collection of Classics. Valiant Universe Handbook. Superhuman Resources, Mosaic. X-Men, The Worst X-Men Ever, Volume 1. Zoe Dare. Slayer?
What does she dare?
Slayer. It's Slay, but it's spelled like, not like Slayer like the band. It's like, we're gonna slay.
Oh,
Oblivion,
that's clever.
Hero Cats, Dark American Mythology, Dark Dinosaur, I don't know. It's this one right here. Revisionist, Sequential Artist, something? That one. True Stories, At the Shore, Aspen Universe Revelations number 2 of 5. That's their attempt to reboot the Aspen Universe.
Right.
Hexed, Pink Panther, Last Immortal, Ghostbusters International, Adventure Time Comics, Buffy the
Come on, grab your
Vampire
friends.
Slayer. Do-do-do-do. No, that was what? No, that was Are You Afraid of the Dark? G.I.
Yeah.
Joe.
Which was also good.
Conan the Slayer, Action Man, Rom, X-Files, Ho Aloha, Hawaiian Dick, Island, Back to the Future, Citizen Brown, Mechanism, and then we got Pretty Deadly Volume 2, Thief of Thieves number 34, Renato Jones number 4, Forgot That One, Add to Cart, Voltron, Exodus, This Life After.
I cannot wait for Benny to drop his first CD.
Oh, I know, right? This is the demo right now.
Merman
And you
in
know
my
what it's going to be
tub.
called? Comicsology.
Ah!
You just sold an album right there.
Dark Souls number 4, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Assassin's Creed number 11. That got really confusing fast. When we get to that, I'll tell you.
Just like the real Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Our Mother, Tokyo, Topu GP, Wrathborn, Exo, Notice, Generation Zero, Death Force. And that is the end. That is the end of all of them, my friends. That is where it comes to a goes.
Someone's either going to turn all that into a great remix or, use this footage as a way to get you, committed to an asylum. Either way.
MLG or IG says I became Legion.
All the many personalities of Benny. It's got them all in there.
I like Demigod. So we're singing now.
Hey, every show's got a musical episode. We're going to get Whedon in here to direct. It'll be great.
All right, guys. So from this point forward, we will sing all the way through. But Sal will be that awkward guy that doesn't sing. He just speaks all his lines in the middle of the song.
Yeah.
You can sing talk.
Like Kesha.
Yeah, like Kesha. Yeah.
Just like Kesha.
All right,
That's
guys.
like-
We
like-
should start from the top of the list. I
do it.
believe in a thing called love.
Just listen to the music of my heart. Yo, the darkness, man.
All right, so we started at the top of the list. Action Comics 960.
Yeah.
Great, fun, cool, good art. Dug it.
What can you say about it? Some cool stuff. I expected they'd finally drop the bomb on who Mr. Oz is, but they kind of just snuck that in at the end there.
We have no idea. We don't know the guy behind the whole thing. Oh, it got water everywhere. Oh, it's so wet. Anyway.
Wrong chat, Benny. Wrong chat. That's next week.
What are you doing next week?
Nothing.
What is Joel doing next week?
Joel's hosting a new podcast, Wet Hours with Joe.
Oops.
It's a new podcast that's hosted on my free cams. It's called the Uncaped.
Oh.
That's the next avenue. We've taken over YouTube. We've taken over Twitch collectively. We need to start branching out into new endeavors.
Branching out.
All right, so anyway, no, they don't reveal anything. It does come to a conclusion. I was really satisfied with the conclusion, but the guy behind everything isn't revealed. Lex Luthor and Superman don't get to talk. We don't know who the other Clark Kent is.
No, Lex Luthor and Superman talk. It's just that, like...
It's like a 2-second exchange of, you don't trust me. No, I don't.
Yeah.
They do come to a bit of a ceasefire, being like, look, the city will burn if we continue to fight each other, so I'll stay out of your way, you stay out of my way, basically.
It's a little arbitrary. I was like... You know, like Lex Luthor gave no reason to trust him either. He's like, well, you could just believe what you want. Like, I will. You're Lex Luthor.
I'm really hoping they're just saving that reveal, because I felt like it was building up to that reveal, and then we didn't get it, and it was just like...
Like I didn't think they were gonna hug it out or anything at the end.
I didn't want to hug it out. I just wanted an explanation. I wanted at least one string to be tied in a neat little bow. That's what
I wanted to know who the Clark Kent guy was, and they did not reveal any of that.
No, but the next issue they promised that will be...
Yeah, that's the next issue's plot line. And I get that they launched like 5 different plots, and you couldn't wrap them all in 6 or 7 issues, however many it was.
But at this point, I almost kind of feel like... I feel like that little kid whose dad is constantly telling them they're not going to work late, but then they always wind up working late, and then they're like, are you going to work late on Christmas, Dad? No, Jimmy, I promise I'm not going to work late on Christmas.
We're going to play catch. Then he gets in a car accident on the way home by running over a reindeer, and he dies, and he turns into a snowman. And then it becomes a guy named Jack Frost, and he goes to play ball with his son, even though he's now a snowman. And at the same time, they somehow ran over Grandma, and Santa Claus is coming to town. And I may have mixed up a few songs.
These are just Christmas song titles, Benny. These are not
Wow, never did I think of all the episodes we've done, never did I think that we'd be making Jack Frost references at some point. Good job, Benny. Good job. Nice pull on the pull.
Oh, my God.
I like me, Elmo. No, Benny. Bad Benny.
Benny's going to watch the replay of this and go, oh, this actually happened?
Yeah. I was awake during those hours.
This is all a dream. None of you are here right now, coma fantasies.
So yeah, I mean, I thought it's a good closure to the first story arc. Not much happened, but I think it did a really good job of establishing new suits and the status quo he's going to be dealing with.
Yeah, I think it delivers on its title, where it's Action Comics. It was literally just Superman fighting Doomsday and balancing the protection of his family.
Yeah.
And we got him and Wonder Woman teaming up to fight Doomsday, which is I've been waiting for since 1997. Like,
I enjoyed that so much, and I never got bored of the fight scenes. Like, they were so wonderfully detailed and well positioned and well drawn that I was captivated the whole time, even though it was like a 5-issue fight scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's basically the whole thing was just a fight scene with Doomsday. That's all it was.
I dug too that they brought it back to the extra Fortress of Solitude that old Superman has built for himself because he couldn't use the other guy's fortress. And yeah, man, I've totally been building a Phantom Zone machine here. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah.
You know, I needed it quite often in the other universe.
My question is it the same Phantom Zone? Like, are all Phantom Zones like? Is there one Phantom Zone that like the New 52 and the pre-Flashpoint universe access, or is it like? Is this the New 52 Phantom Zone?
That's a hell of a...
I'm not gonna lie. I think you're overthinking it, Sal.
I think that I don't know. I think that like the writers at least are like, oh no. There's a thing. We're gonna use it. We established the Phantom Zone. We're gonna use that.
Wouldn't be some shit if like old 52 Zod came out of that Phantom Zone and be like, hey everybody, guess who's here now?
Or Christopher Kent comes out of there, or Mon-El, or anyone from the pre-Flashpoint.
Or what if people from the pre-Flashpoint go into the Phantom Zone and then come back out of the post-Flashpoint, and we've made a complete bridge to the pre-Flashpoint universe?
Yes.
Possible. Anything's possible.
Or Batman saw the end of the universe coming and he jumped into the Phantom Zone and was like, finally.
You're not locked in here with me, Phantom Zone criminals. It's the other way around.
Right.
I would love for Phantom Zone to just be a supervillain Dropbox that crosses over.
Yeah. That's one of the Jokers. One of the Jokers is real Joker from Who doesn't get his face cut off?
Just keep your files in the
Mon-El.
Phantom
I didn't
Zone.
even know who Mon-El was. I've looked that up.
Yeah, League of Superheroes guy.
Mon-El's cool. Also, some DC
costume.
movie reminded me, Superboy Prime could be in there.
Yep.
No,
then
he's in the
once
source
we-
wall, and we freed him a little while ago. In theory.
Wait, really? Like in New 52, he's in the
They
source
didn't
wall?
show him in there, but the source walls had everyone freed. So in theory, he's out if they ever want to use him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
But I think a lot of times pass, so it's kind of like Superboy Prime got free, and then he went to go live on a planet all by himself until he got mad enough to fight. I mean,
Yeah.
And punch reality again.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
next up on the list there, so we're not spending all day on this, is the Assassin's Creed 11. I wanted to comment. Story is still going great, but now we're starting to get deeper into the Assassin's Creed lore, which basically means I had to read this issue twice.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But issue 11 is the beginning of the new story arc, so if you're digging the idea behind Assassin's Creed and you want to follow a modern-day assassin that isn't Desmond or yourself, that's that's that one. So let's go to Batgirl, issue number 2.
Yes,
yeah,
I read this.
I like this.
I thought it was
I
okay.
enjoyed it too.
I don't
They
know
really
where they're
piled
going
the
with it.
soap opera. They really piled the soap opera
Yeah.
on thick in this issue, being like, "Oh, I think I love my traveling partner, even though I've only been with him for an issue."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, supposedly they had a history, but yeah, they did kind of shoehorn that in there. I do love me some cheesy Korean drama plots, and that's about what that feels like it's going to be.
Yeah.
So the ending and the reveal that they do with it is either going to make or break that. But I feel like I like watching her go on the journey and engage in MMA fighting in Shanghai.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I do like seeing her
And
train.
enjoying the journey.
I think it's a fun development for the character that we've not seen in quite some time. Because I think in the last 20 years, the biggest development was I magically healed my back spine thing.
Yeah.
And now I have a new costume. I mean,
Well, and
about
I'm 30, but I act like I'm 19.
here I think she's officially 20-something.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I know they officially established her age. I'm just saying, like, when it was still kind of nebulous, when they were like, "No, I just want to draw Batgirl with red hair, and I don't care how I get there."
I'll find a damn way.
I remember I used to be a member of the Brian Michael Bendis web board,
Oh,
and
nice.
some artist on there was like drew. This is, by the way, like 2008. 6, and he drew like 10 spec pages of Barbara Gordon Batgirl. By the way, 2008, 2006, and I'm like, and he's like, "What do you think? I'm gonna pitch it to DC." And I'm like, first of all, you don't have a job. Second of all, that's Barbara freaking Gordon. So you got 2 strikes, man. No one's gonna bring back Barbara Gordon. Like, no question, they will never fix Barbara Gordon. And sure enough, was I wrong? And I think that guy actually became a comic book artist, so screw
Good for
me.
him.
I'm a moron.
So on
It's
that
funny,
note,
too, this
Batgirl
issue,
2 is interesting. The only problem I'm really having with this is Batgirl and rebirth to Prey have already established that this story is happening in the past,
Yes.
which basically, with any like flashback story, this
You
takes
knew
not
she
that
made it
long.
out okay.
Right,
Yeah.
this
Waldron's
takes some
gone.
time.
Yeah.
We know she's gonna be walking. We know she's gonna have her suit. Like nothing's.
We know things didn't work out with that other dude because she's also pining for Dick
Yeah.
again in the Nightwing book. So clearly none of that worked.
To be fair, in a relationship or not, every girl is pining for Dick.
And on that note, Blue Beetle Rebirth. How did everyone feel about that one?
This was a weird
really
one.
boring.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if it
I
was
really
boring.
disliked it. Basically nothing happened. It pretty much establishes the new Jaime Reyes.
Not really.
I don't want to be the Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes.
That's
Yeah.
about as much as he
But
did.
that's about all we found out was I don't want to be Blue Beetle. It's affecting school. I don't want to be Blue Beetle. And I'm like, oh,
This
God.
book really assumes that if you're picking it up, you're already an expert on Blue Beetle, which is really unfortunate because if any book needed a fresh start and a do-over, it was Blue Beetle. The old stuff is a cult classic. I love the shit out of it.
I'll say I don't like. No, I feel like they established who is he. So the book basically lays out. You got Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes says, I don't want to be Blue Beetle. I have this alien technology on my back. There's a billionaire working with me. He establishes who Ted Kord is. You don't need to know that Ted Kord was a Blue Beetle because they've established him as being a inventor working with him. We've established Jaime Reyes doesn't want to be Blue Beetle. We see that he fights and he doesn't have control over his abilities.
We've met his family, we've met his friends.
Yeah, it does a really good job setting up him What I don't like about it is it's pretty much 20 pages of him whining that he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Then it ends by recapping the DC Rebirth, same pages.
Yeah, it was a freaking repeat. You know what's funny? At the end of him bitching about not wanting to be Blue Beetle anymore, me either, Jaime. Get out of here.
Why don't you just give it to Ted Cord? Because Ted Cord seems all about that shit.
I love Ted Cord Blue Beetle. You just established that Ted Cord is no longer like a 19-year-old genius who tried to get a job from Lex Luthor, I guess. So make him Blue Beetle. He built the Beetle flying machine. He's wearing goggles. You know he's gonna be Blue Beetle at some point or another. We're gonna have 2 Blue Beetles, one of them with a magic alien backpack, and the other one who was the one people liked until Max Lord shot him in the face. Like,
so many hopes and dreams fried into ashes and then scattered over a really nice scenic river.
Yeah, you notice too in this book, everyone from heroes to villains, everyone involved had verbal diarrhea in this book.
Oh my god, it was just like nonstop.
It would be one thing if they had like some quippy, funny things to say, but I'm just like, okay, now you guys are just talking for the sake of talking.
It was like
I think the villains even make a comment on that. Like, why is he so chatty?
It's
amazing.
The fact that it's self-aware makes me angrier. I'm like, you knew what the problem was, and you didn't fix it.
Right.
I wanted
here's
to
a question I
love
have for
this
you
book. I
guys
really did.
and our viewers. A question. Because we're establishing that the Blue Beetle's not the alien, which is like the retconned origin for the last 20 years or something, hasn't it? It's like been like that for
We're
a
going
very
back
long
to the
time.
previous retcon.
He's magic now.
But here's my question, because this isn't a new timeline. There's an entire storyline of the Reach invading planets. We're just gonna ignore that now?
Or not.
So.
I mean, like maybe they obtained their technology through magic.
Possibly.
No, they've made it explicit that the actual technology is magic. They explicitly said it.
Yeah.
It's
On your world, you call
magic.
it magic. Your ancestors called it something else. On my world, it's one and the same.
In the end, fate basically goes, you think that this is alien technology that you acquired, but actually it's magic and it's not, so stop fucking with it. And they're like, no.
But
No.
what I'm
Old school
wondering is,
fate,
are we
too.
just going to 100% ignore the Reach and just be like, that doesn't happen? That never
Would
happened.
feel kind of shitty in a Blue Beetle thing to completely cut the Reach out, considering that's like the big villainous breakout of the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the New 52, they tried to have an entire Reach invades Earth storyline that just kind of like sputtered out and didn't go anywhere.
Because Blue Beetle got canceled, so they couldn't do it.
It even crossed over with Green Lantern, and the Reach is what destroyed the Blue Lanterns. So it's kind of a rather large part of the Green Lantern lore now, and we're just gonna be like, they're not real.
Hell, I'm pretty sure the
they're
Damonites were going to invade Earth too, back when they thought all those characters from the other company would be a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're shoving it down the same giant pitch black plot hole that Bendis and Snyder have been shoving things the last couple of years. So that's how I feel about the Reach. Or, well, the fact that they're totally ignoring it.
I so wanted to love Blue Beetle. I was such a champion of the old series. I really did think Blue Beetle's problem was that he was too soon he came out. Like, if he came out in the same era as Kamala Khan and Miles Morales, he would have been huge.
Would have been embraced, yeah.
Now he's kind of feels like he's missed that boat where those characters are established.
I guarantee you, this book is 100% attempt at that again. Hey, we have a Hispanic character who happens to have new powers and took over from an older
and is a
character.
legacy, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, it's the same reason why, who was it recently? My brain's not working. Oh, I'll think of it later. All right, so the next one on the list then is Steve Rogers, Captain America, the Civil War II Titan.
Yes.
Anyone else read it?
I read it. It was all right.
It was.
My only problem with it is this. Okay, it's actually a really good starting point if you haven't gotten into the new Steve Rogers yet.
Oh, yeah.
Because it re-establishes everything. It explains why he's working for Hydra. It explains what the plot is. It explains what his status quo is. It establishes that he's going to still try to get rid of Red Skull, but for different reasons. All of that.
It's all going to... I see the writing on the wall for how they're going to fix it and put the genie back in the bottle, and it's like... Okay,
Red Skull's
cool.
going to do it. Is going to have Kobik do it.
Red Skull's gonna be like, Steve's gonna beat me to take over. I've got to make it back to Steve Rogers. At least I know I can defeat good Steve Rogers.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's cool, too...
That's
My
what I
only
was
complaint is that issues 1, 2, and 3 are one storyline, and it's almost like they're like, and you're on the shelf while we do the Civil War II thing. You know?
Well, that's why I had originally dropped it and then didn't pick up the Civil War tie-in, because I was like, well, I didn't like 1, 2, 3 of Steve Rogers, so there's no point for me to pick up this Civil War tie-in because
it's not much of a tie-in. Basically, the big tie-in moment is Steve saying, "And they'll never know I'm a secret Hydra sleeper agent because they're too busy fighting each other."
Oh, you know what? What's next? Oh, we're not there yet. I'm going to jump ahead to tie into what you're saying there, because we've been having this debate for the last couple of weeks now about how Civil War II tie-ins have not been a part of it.
Yeah.
Did anybody read the opener tab to Deadpool?
No.
Okay,
No.
I'm going to read this so you guys can see how Deadpool's writers mock the tie-in system.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Okay.
It's Doug.
Oh,
and
you're
he's
going to be real happy.
So if you want to hear it, so here's last time on Deadpool. Deadpool may be beloved by the masses, both in the Marvel Universe and the regular mundane universe, but he is certainly not beloved by those who know and work with him. Specifically, he's universally abhorred by the mercenaries that he hired to staff the Mercs for Hire: Slapstick, Solo, Terror, Stingray, Massacre, and Fool Killer. He hasn't been paying them what he promised, and instead has been using their income to fund the Avengers team that somehow considers him a member. The Mercs are dead set on ending their relationship with Deadpool, and to that end, they've made their mission to seek out and destroy their contracts. The quest has led them to the safe deposit vault box of the Bank of Ho-Ho-Hocus, New Jersey, which is where Wade caught up with them to take his emotions out on their faces. They've been locked up together, like on a TV show where people get trapped together to work, and they have to work it out for a few issues. Let's see how that worked out. Oh wait, what about Ulysses? Oh, pretend this whole issue is something being foreseen by the profiler's superpowers, and he didn't care enough to change it.
That's amazing.
Oh, Duggan. Oh, you my boy, Duggan. You my boy.
Oh, that's some delicious self-awareness right there. That's some tasty fourth wall joking around right there.
That was great. I love
I'm
that.
happy.
I had to read the whole thing for you to get it, because...
That was beautiful. That was a good payoff. That was gorgeous. I'm gonna pick that shit up now.
That's pretty good.
Everyone's saying the same. I mean, it's funny because the Steve Rogers one's not really a tie-in, and the Deadpool's not really a tie-in. And the only tie-in portion is they acknowledge that elsewhere this is happening, and that's it.
Right.
What I like too about this
Deadpool
Captain America...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say...
I was still reveling in the shade. Sorry.
It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. One of the things I like too about this Captain America story, and maybe you guys picked up on it too, is that they've really thrown in Bucky and Kobik as kind of this wild card into what's going on, because it looks like Kobik's not going along with the original program. In fact, she's trying to make it so Bucky can't talk to Steve.
Yeah.
No,
so who's she working for?
She's also trying to bring back Pleasant Hill, which I thought was a fun moment with the villains being like, "Yo, can we stay here for like an hour? Because I really want to."
I love that ice cream place.
I like that too, because it
was like, I don't want to be here. This is not good. Stop making this come back.
I much preferred the Thunderbolt there too, because the art didn't look abysmal in this one.
Liking it. I really like Jim Zub's writing. I do not like the art that we're flowing with right now. Yeah.
No, not into it.
So if you haven't jumped on board with Captain America Hydra yet, this is actually a good starting point. I'm debating if I'm going to cover the first 3 issues and just leave it on a cliffhanger, or what I'm going to do because of the weird situation they've created with Civil War II. But I guess we'll see.
Right.
I like Sheriff Taskmaster.
Captain Marvel 8, which is a book I don't normally read, but I had so much time.
Yeah.
Anybody else read it?
I read it as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is actually interesting. So Captain Marvel 8 and 7 and 6, I have read the Civil War II tie-ins, but I don't normally read Captain Marvel in general. Captain Marvel is basically, am I doing the right thing? There's so many things telling me I'm wrong.
Yes,
and that's
tell, because she's basically because any book that is exploring the legitimate moral question about whether she's right or wrong always says she's wrong, and her own book, they're like, you're doing it wrong. Like, I don't care how effective you are. This is weird.
Yeah. No, and that's what it really boils down to. Everyone's telling her she's wrong, and she's trying to make it as legitimate as possible. But of course, in this book, she has to go stop something that technically shouldn't have happened. Black Panther asks the question that now that we know that Ulysses is not 100%, could people be manipulating the visions? So what she ends up doing is a villain from like long time ago who came out on parole. Suddenly they picked up an energy signature that he was coming back to work. What ends up happening is her and Black Panther break into the house, discover that he's just a middle-aged man now with a family, and his trophy weapon was magically getting powers again, and he wasn't even affecting it.
You didn't even know.
Right, and so Captain Marvel draws the power out of it because the Vision said that he was going to get his powers back and kill everyone. So she pulls the power up, and she's like, I don't know where this came from. I don't know. Like, this has nothing to do with him, that it restarted. So could this have manipulated Ulysses' vision to show that, you know, that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Will that have a payoff, I wonder, in Civil War 2? Is there, like, some villainous string puller behind all of this? And if so, who is it?
I hope so. That'd be kind of cool.
That's what they're implying, that there's the villainous string puller. But you know you're morally fucking up and in that really dark, deep end when your own book is telling you, no, you fucked up. You fucked up real bad.
Well, they end it with Black Panther being like, okay, well, I don't agree with you, but I don't see another option. Kind of that's where we're currently at right now. Like, you might not be doing it right, but I see you're putting your best effort into it to make it right. So
it's going to be really hard. It's such a weird decision to make Carol Danvers the Iron Man of Civil War right before her movie, because she was already on the wrong side of Civil War in the first Civil War, and that really screwed up the Ms. Marvel series by Reed. And I only think this will continue to malign the Carol Danvers character. We were just starting to finally like this person. We were just finally starting to get...
Marvel has been trying forever to make you like Captain Marvel.
Well, to make her a Wonder Woman of Marvel.
Yeah.
And the fact is, Marvel can't have a Wonder Woman because they're all regular people who are totally corruptible. And even when Captain Marvel thinks she's doing the right thing, she's doing it either for the wrong reasons or she's doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. And in this book, we're only learning just like how far down, like, it's like somebody who gives a speech by insulting the person they're giving the speech about, only because they think that they're so goddamn clever they can pull themselves verbally, gymnastically out of that hole and be even more on top than before. Like, they're just like, let's make her just this totally unsympathetic person.
Well, they actually correct some
and then ever win.
Well, because like in Ms. Marvel, she was just total dickhead to Ms. Marvel, making Ms. Marvel
She sure was.
And everything. And this one, she even comments like, "I get like this young girl idolizes me, and I'm treating her like crap because I don't know what to do." And it's so weird because I feel like a lot of Marvel is, this is out of character. Let's correct it over here. This is out of character. Now we're going to correct it over here.
Speaking of Miss Marvel, remember I joked before saying, well, you know, Carol's maybe not at the exact place Tony was. At least she doesn't have secret black site prisons. In Miss Marvel, she does, actually. The people she outsourced to have, like, secret black site prisons where people are held without trial. And I'm like, okay, Carol, now you are as bad as Tony was.
Don't worry, because Bendis doesn't know that because he doesn't read anyone else's books.
Yeah.
So
Bendis is going to shove that down as useful plot hole.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that brings us to Deadpool, which is actually really good. I mean, it just continues the Deadpool story. It has nothing to do with Civil War 2. Did anyone else bother reading it yet?
No.
I'm excited to read it. The last issue bored the hell out of me because it was about James Bourne.
Yeah, we'll explain how come Deadpool's famous. And this one, I'm not, without really majorly spoiling it because there's no real need to, resolves that whole plot with the merch for hire.
Okay.
Yeah, so. Okay, that brings us to Deathstroke #1. Now, this is going to be the first time in the Rebirth that I felt like the Zero Rebirth issue was actually mandatory. Because it picks up right where that left off.
Oh, yeah, it
does.
does.
Just keeps going.
Can I say I love villainous protagonist Deathstroke? I never thought I'd be into a Deathstroke book. He is such a delicious bastard throughout this. There's a bit where he's fighting with his wife, and she's mad at him for his job, but not because she doesn't like him murdering people. She's like, no, I want to go out and murder people too. I trained you, you dick. Why do I got to stay here with the kids? And his response is, I kid you not, you're a woman with your uterus. Shut up.
No, his response is, don't blame me for your uterus.
Something like that. I'm overdoing it, but that's what he said.
Don't blame me for your birthing uterus.
Right.
Yep.
But
Such a delicious
I thought it was good. It's not a really good starting point. I would get the prior issue.
Yeah.
But together, it's really good.
They screw with time a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Deathstroke 1, like I know I brought up when I went over it last time. It's got that Fargo format where it plays with time, and it's got this really intricate story behind it, but he's a true blue villain protagonist, which you don't really see. Like, he's awful, you don't like him, you want to see him lose, you are rooting against him, but at the same time, he's the hero of that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I do?
speaking of, did you guys know that once that new Teen Titans book gets rolling, they're actually planning to retell the Judas contract as an event that's going to go between the two, probably to tie into the animated movie when they do that one.
Honestly, though, normally I would disagree with retelling a story, but you need to with how many changes they've goddamn made to this whole thing.
And they've also set up Deathstroke's kids again. Grant the loser, who will die at the hands of the Titans and make Deathstroke want to go fight them. And Jericho, the one who will actually be someone useful.
And Jericho, the horribly costumed.
Yep.
Jericho.
I like
That's
his
okay.
New 52 costume.
Also, I was talking about his old costume. I haven't actually...
I have a feeling they're going to keep his old costume because you know whose costume they kept in Deathstroke Rebirth was they kept Clop King's costume.
They sure did.
His old costume.
Yeah, they did.
Jericho's New 52 costume sucks too, so never mind.
Yeah.
My point still stands.
You know where he had a decent costume? In that like Teen Titans Earth 1, whatever, he had a decent costume.
Super armored Jericho.
No.
Because it doesn't go with his powers. Why does he need to be armored?
Yeah.
It just doesn't color coordinate with his powers.
It
just doesn't. It just doesn't go.
On that note, let's talk about the red. Okay, so Detective Comics has been incredible up to this point, and one key factor that has been happening is Tim has been hinting that he's going to quit. He's going to move on to get a degree. He's going to possibly date Stephanie.
Scholarship in Ivy Town.
Right, he's going to move away. Oh, and in this issue, now he's going to sacrifice himself.
Also, Tim's going to retire. Tim is going to finally buy that house they've been talking about.
He's getting a boat, and he's going to live out his years on the boat on the Miami coast.
Yep. Tim is going to do all those things he never got a chance to do because he was too busy wearing feathers. Oh, wait, I guess he'll be murdered by bat-fed drones right before Batman shows up, and we're going to see a really cool image of Batman holding a dead Robin.
I think I saw Tim say at one point, "I'm too old for this shit," but I can't confirm.
You didn't see it. I heard it.
For all of these issues, he's been screaming something was going to happen to Tim. And the way this issue pans out, like nothing really happens in this entire issue.
Wouldn't it be funny?
He reprograms all of the drones to come look for him.
Yes. Wouldn't it be funny if actually Stephanie Brown died?
Oh shit!
She jumps in the way.
She jumps in the way, and Batman has to make the ultimate decision about who to save.
Oof.
They're going full. They were not kidding when they said Rebirth was going to go classic. These are some old school tropes, but I'm the sucker that would sit there and be like, Tim's not going to die. He has so much going for him.
He has so much.
I'm feeling that way.
That would be so dramatically compelling if he died.
You know what though? Maybe he won't die. Maybe he'll just get crippled.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, and then he can be Oracle.
Yeah,
He's such a great computer
Oracle.
whiz.
He's already the tech wizard.
I guess he'd be Oracle at that point.
Yeah. He'd be Orko, and he could wear a big hat, and he could say really annoying things, just bother everybody. They can give him a hover chair.
Oh,
So basically what we're saying is the story in Detective is great, and we're all expecting a death next issue.
Bingo.
You know what else I liked?
Real good.
After issues and issues of Batman going, League of Shadows, that's fairy tale shit, that's not real. Then we see the drones targets, and one guy is clearly a League of Shadows guy because he has black eyes. And it's like, oh crap, they're real.
Yeah, no, they're going through, and it's funny because Batman's sitting there with Batwoman. He's like, no, they're just following a myth. They're following a myth. And like you said, it shows a couple targets. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to deal with that when this is done.
That's a very Moffat device too, to be like, those aren't real. Those are fairy tales. Things like that aren't here
I
in
just
the
feel like
modern
grabbing
age.
Batman and just slapping him and be like, so with the Court of Owls, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, but they don't have a nursery rhyme though, the League of Shadows.
Batman checks validity based on nursery rhyme availability.
Batman's also like, yeah, the Illuminati and Skull and Bones, they're not real either, all fairy tales.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Those
that's
sequels-
interesting, but nothing really happens in this one except that we're setting up for the death. Extraordinary X-Men, didn't know us read that one. I'm back on board now that Apocalypse is done. So apparently, they captured Apocalypse.
They did.
Whoa!
I skimmed through this one, yeah. Yeah, they have an Apocalypse now, yes.
Yeah. And that's pretty much where we're at.
He's their
They
pet.
should make him a member of the team.
Oh, God.
And maybe make him a kid.
The way I want to see them capture Apocalypse is just Pokemon Go style.
Yeah.
They basically
Apocalypse.
did. They got him in a big like hamster tray, basically.
I'm saying, like, they should make him a good guy, like they made Magneto into Jericho, or they make Sabretooth into a good guy. Like, make Apocalypse like kind of a slightly depowered good guy who like hangs out with them. He's like he's like teenager.
Evan.
Yeah, Evan's a child. Evan was a child. He wasn't actually like a team member. They didn't put a big X on him. No, put him in a suit, send him on missions. Except the X-Men, well, no, then people would have to buy X-Men again, and no one wants that.
Yeah, why would you want to buy X-Men?
We did that. It was Evan.
Evan was a kid, a child.
He's on the all-new X-Men. He goes on missions with them.
Yeah.
But all new, all different X-Men.
Mm-hmm. All right.
To which I'm sure Sal's like, that's not a real X-Men team. Those are time-traveling X-Men.
Those are time-traveling phonies, and I don't want them here.
You stay in your own book and don't touch anything else in this universe.
Unless they're drawn by Stuart Immonen, I don't give a crap.
All right, next up on the list is Faith issue 2. I read through this one. It concludes the first Faith arc.
Nice.
Oh,
in 2 issues?
In 2 issues.
They're doing crazy
it's actually
things.
a pretty cool idea. So just to run down the idea of this one real fast. A movie star who's always the superhero in the superhero movies always wanted to be a super villain, like a legit super villain, but he's too pretty boy looking to be a villain. So he decided to make his own criminal empire, captures Faith to become her arch nemesis, but of course he's just a movie star. So she's like, screw you, and then she fights off his body doubles and then drops him and puts him in jail.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
It actually was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't have much more to say on it, but
Neat.
I think
Cool.
I'm the one reading Faith concurrently, aren't I?
Yes.
Sounds fun.
My local comic book guy threw in an issue of Faith #1 for me, and he was like, "You should read this," and I was like, "Okay."
It's actually
Don't
not
tell
bad,
me
it
what to
is.
read.
That brings us to The Flash, Barry's Day Off, which I feel like is just the whole issue is filler except the end.
Right.
I didn't read it.
So
I know it's
following. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I know it says Barry's Day Off, but the riff off of the Ferris Bueller's Day Off title and then the cover itself don't match. Look how tortured and angsty he is. And then you have the title, which is a spoof off of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
So basically, Barry goes on a day off. If you've been reading the story, everyone in the world has now gotten speed powers, basically. Like, a whole bunch of people have.
He crashes a red sports car. He sings in a parade.
Yeah, no, he does. And he's also got a friend named, what was his name?
Cameron?
Cameron, right. Now, anyway. So the whole storyline's basically been Barry has all these people. So now that Barry has other Flashster people, he's training them, and he can go do other things.
Oh.
Godspeed has been running around stealing speed from people. That's what he's been doing. So Barry takes the day off. New potential girlfriend who has speed powers runs back. Godspeed shows up, sucks everyone up. Barry runs back. Too late. Oh no! It's all because I took a day off. You know that.
He should go back in time and stop it from happening.
Moral of the story: never take a vacation, or else people will get their speed stolen.
Because like the whole moral of the story is Barry works so hard that he can't maintain his life, and it's like finally he can have a life, and it's like, but now everyone's gonna die.
Got them superhero problems.
Yeah.
That feels a lot like management.
So yeah, I mean I've been liking it up till this issue, and now I'm just kind of like, all right, let's get back on track. Like,
This little tangent was fun, but can we get back to the plot?
Right.
Where is the chase, and how can I cut to it?
You have Godspeed running around. Yeah. Okay. All right, that brings us to Valiant Generation Zero issue 1. I'm not gonna lie.
How did it turn out? I didn't get a chance to read it yet.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually was not looking forward to it because I'm not a huge fan of like teenage, angsty books like X-Men. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. So I started reading this, and it's really good.
Sweet.
Now Valiant's like batting 100.
Yeah, no. So basically, the idea is it doesn't open up with Generation X or the kids. It opens up with a girl that's having a problem. Like, her friend's gone missing, and she thinks it's a cover-up. So she goes into this top-secret chat room that she got heard through a friend of a friend of a friend, displays her problem, and Generation Zero's like, we're coming. Wait for us. And then she doesn't wait for them.
Damn it, you had one job, lady.
I know. So she runs off to try and solve it, and at the very end of the book, they show up like, we're Zero. You called us. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm on board with this, you know. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's really good. I actually really, really enjoyed it. Then I looked at the writer. It's Fred Van Lente, and I
It's
actually
Fred
really
Van
like
Lente.
his writing. Yeah. And for the record, guys, we're hitting them all because I actually read them all on the plane today. That brings us to Godzilla: Rage Across Time. I know you all read this one.
I read a couple of the Matt Frank Godzillas back in the day. He's a cool guy.
This one's interesting. It just tells stories of Godzilla in time. So,
Okay.
He has a rich
moving
history,
on,
that Godzilla.
That brings us to Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had this spoiled for me to an extent.
Oh.
Well, when I went down to go see the printing press, I was hanging out with the Green Lantern writer, so I kind of know
He's
what's
like,
happening.
so here's what's happening.
Yeah, I know what's happening all the way to 17.
Did you just ply him with drinks? It's like, and tell me all about it.
I did. So I'm reading this, and I'm like, this is so good. Can't wait for what's gonna happen next.
You know what you need to do in the next issue? I think Hal needs a new best friend named, I don't know, Benny, maybe, who comes on adventures with him. I don't know.
But no, it's really good. Has anyone else get a chance to read Hal Jordan?
I'm behind on it.
No.
No, I mean, basically, we discover Sinestro's people are conquering the world, and they beat down Hal. That's basically where we're at. So it's kind of a middle ground issue. It's not a great jumping off point, but it's not a bad issue if you're reading. You know?
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you take the next one, Caitlin, because I know you read this one.
Is it
Harley.
my babe?
Yeah,
Harley? Harley. So basically, wait, let me find it so I can look at it again. I just want to stare at the cover. I love it so much. Love them bombshells. But basically, Harley goes back in time. It opens up with a weird dialogue about that one time she fondled Superman's nutsack, and then
I legitimately, because it says, make sure you see the next issue, and I'm like, I can't wait to see the next issue.
And that's new married Superman, too, she's talking about.
Yeah, so I was like, I got his super balls, and I'm like, and then our buddy Tony's like, so you grabbed his super balls?
Lois was not happy.
those magical super balls. So yeah, after that brief discussion about fondling super balls, she and not the bouncy kind. Okay, I'm done.
But dumb Tish.
She goes back in time and she meets up with the bombshells, including herself, and they fight Nazis.
Such a cool idea.
If you want to see multi-Harley fight Nazis and at one point have some kind of bizarre fever dream in which she's kidnapped by Vampire Joker, I would highly recommend Harley's Little Black Book, which is fantastic and it's really funny. And I freaking love the Little Black Book.
Also, way to legitimize the Bombshells universe even further by having mainstream Harley cross over with that series. I don't think there's a higher honor.
One thing that I actually really liked about this, though, they don't even leave you room to question time paradoxes and stuff.
Right.
Like, there's actually lines in there to be like, oh, so we've corrected the time paradox and I can do whatever I want now.
Yes.
Technically, it's back in time and in another universe, but whatever.
So don't even worry about it, Harley. Just do whatever.
It's all
That's
good.
cool. I like that.
I keep hoping that Caitlin and Mai's dream Little Black Book happens where Harley Quinn teams up with Jonah Hex. Why has that not happened yet? Paul Miotti wrote Hex for years.
I want this so badly. I want her to team up Raven the Bold style with Jonah Hex and have wonderful little Wild West adventures. I want to see her in a little cowboy outfit that's super skimpy, trying to ride a
writing a fan fiction.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you just have to supply these things yourself.
Little Black Book is a fan fiction for the most part.
It really is.
It is authorized fan fiction.
Yeah, basically it is, yeah.
It just knows exactly what it is, and
the
I
moment
love
she got a black and a red ring and merged them into a singular ring, I'm like, well, this ain't never going to be in the mainstream.
No coming back from this.
And she bought it off of eBay, too.
Yeah,
In a battle against Jeff Johns.
She got it
like,
off.
as soon as that happens, you're like, if this was real, every Green Lantern book would be fighting this right now.
Yeah.
So, okay, that brings us to the Hellblazer, which...
Yes.
Good?
Yeah.
I feel like the Rebirth issue was better, but this establishes why Swamp Thing is involved finally. So that's kind of cool.
What's funny about this is that it's a crossover between Constantine and Swamp Thing, something I'm sure people have wanted for a long time. Classic Vertigo stuff. Constantine can't wait to leave the crossover is the thing. He keeps trying to like push Swamp Thing out of the cab
There's a whole
and
page
get
in
away.
which Constantine is asking if he's only involved with Swamp Thing because Swamp Thing wants to use his body for sex. And Swamp Thing's like, no, not really. And he's like, well, let's not completely rule it out, but, you know, I'm not really up for that.
And it's all about Abigail Arcane, of course, so you get in your nice little Swamp Thing lore and everything in there. They mention the green, and they mention all the other stuff. It's just fun checking in with Swamp Thing again.
Yeah, I think it ends with Constantine leaving the crossover, and so we're going to see what happens next.
Also, they established these new angels who were there at the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in the beginning of World War I. I think they're implying that they're renegade angels, because they're like, no, we cannot interfere in the works of man, or else the Creator will know and be angry with us.
That sounds like they're linking it with Preacher.
Possibly.
Oh, could you imagine if they brought Preacher into the mainstream?
I have pitched that idea where, like, they put Jesse Custer, like they catch Jesse Custer like after the events of Preacher and put him on the Suicide Squad.
Oh, dude!
And like he had a little bit of the residual voice, but like that would also destroy Preacher, and I would probably like freak out.
And you would cry.
Yeah, but I'll do it if it's my idea.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Only I get to ruin Preacher forever.
It would be a good money idea,
right?
Do you really want to be the one that ruins Preacher forever?
I think the show already does a pretty good job with that.
There's a reason I'm avoiding it.
I totally forgot about the show.
Hey, if you have zero knowledge of Preacher, it's just fine.
Yeah, if you don't know what that is, then you should probably really enjoy it.
And yet, at the same time, man, do I feel bad for those people during the Saint of Killer scenes, because if you, like, it's one of those things where it's like, only if you know the comic do you know what the fuck's up with the cowboy. Everyone else who's just watching it like any other shows, like, what's up with the cat? Why do they keep going back to the cowboy?
Yeah. Well, as long as John Wayne shows up, that'll really confuse them. You know he won't, so that's fine.
That's unfortunate. Actually, they've kind of made Arseface into his John Wayne.
Oh, good. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And moving on, I skimmed it, wasn't a huge fan of it, but Greg Pak has his own book now, creator-owned, Kingsway West.
Nice.
What I did see about it, it's a cowboy who's also a samurai fighting ninjas in a world with dragons and monsters in a dystopian future.
Yep,
so
that
my
sounds
high school
exactly
notebook.
like something he wants to do.
So all of our high school notebooks got made into a comic.
Yeah.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Now, bear in mind, I read the first 3 pages and then just was like, I'm going to come back to this. This is...
I'll be back. I'll be back, Rick.
Yeah.
Sounds like Sucker Punch, but less dumb than Sucker Punch was.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, it'd be hard to be dumber.
And then by some odd reason, next up is Money Morphin Power Rangers Annual number 1. It's only been around for 5 issues, so I don't know how we have an annual already.
But Joel, what'd you think?
Annuals don't mean anything anymore. My store was sold out of this, and I didn't have enough time to grab a digital copy. I did read reviews, though. Everyone says it's great. It's a bunch of great creators coming together doing an anthology story.
Like it. I actually did read it, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's a bunch of fun little side stories, like A Week in the Life of Jason. You're like, oh, he's really running himself ragged. Oh, then he sleeps for a whole day, and he's back to normal. And then it had a really weirdly drawn one where Bulk and Skull became the Orange and Purple Ranger.
That's a cool idea.
I mean,
so it's not as good as the ongoing.
There's a story where Trini and Kimberly turns into a bunny, and Trini has to fight like a villain that turns people into animals, and Kimberly has to jump in as the bunny and save the day.
Sounds about right.
They're fun little stories, but I was hoping for a little more substance to it.
You wanted them to continue with the arc they were doing, where the command center is destroyed and Cyclops.
I wanted the serious nature that they were running with, and this is all comical, jokey stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of interested in Usagi no Ranger. Personally, I would probably follow that series.
Usagi Rangers, it's coming up soon. They've already done Spies and everything else.
Yeah, Usagi Rangers, I'm all about it.
That brings us to the new Avengers 15 Civil War 2 tie-in. I dropped that series 10 issues ago. Is anyone
Same.
Anything with a Civil War title on it, I'm going to avoid as much as possible.
I'll pick it up back again when it becomes USA Avengers.
Yeah.
Yes, I will read that. We'll talk about that.
Okay, and now in a shocking turn, I did read Six Pack and Dog Wielder, and I am not reading issue 2.
Okay, fair enough.
That sounds like a good life choice.
You got to be deep into your Ennis to like this one, although I think it's great they got him.
How long were you on the plane for, Benny?
That it got to that point. Flight.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it opens up where Dog Wielder is, I think, spying on his own kids, but apparently he wielded a dog to their faces because they got, like, scar tissue all over their face.
Weld.
I'm sorry.
It's weld.
I thought you meant like he wielded dogs, like a shield or
dog
like a
welder. Sorry. This is okay. So basically,
this works actually.
Is
welds dogs.
Okay, Six Pack is an insane, released psycho patient guy who made a group that had I thought DCU had a book that I couldn't read either.
Very short.
Yeah, and Dog Wielder is Welder.
He's got nunchucks made of dogs.
My mighty sword.
He literally welds dogs to your face. So
solid power set.
I tried it. If you like Garth Ennis and that just out there humor, it's not in continuity in any way, shape, or form. There is a female character in there that is literally in what appears to be an intestinal tract, talking to Catwoman, Power Girl, and like another female character about how to win back her man, who's like another crazy thing. And then there's this other guy that's nothing but a mouth with teeth. And dog burned to your face guy is like trying to, I don't know, an alien shows up and is telling them they're all going to be picked in, and it's weird. And
cool.
Are you sure you didn't fall asleep on that flight and just have a really weird dream?
The full title of this book, too, Benny, is Six-Pack Dog Welder, Hard Traveling Heroes, but spelt with a Z.
Yeah, no, it's...
Okay, so he's making a joke about everything. Mm-hmm.
Classic Ennis, I write superheroes, but also kind of fuck superheroes at the same time. It's the boys' Ennis is what it is.
Yeah.
There is a 100% market for it. I will not deny that. I am not that audience.
No, either in or you're not.
That brings me to the next one. Another one I want to mention, the Snotgirl book. So here's, I want to pitch the story to you guys and see what you all think. Okay?
Yeah.
And
okay.
Sal's probably gonna not like this. So I got turned on to this by people recommending indie books, and I picked it up. I'm like, oh, it's Brian O'Malley, the guy that wrote Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'll probably enjoy it. So the idea is, it's about us. It's a YouTube/blogger girl who's a fashion guru, and she's friends with other fashion gurus, and she's like the biggest thing since sliced bread. But she can't stand her friends because they're all full of themselves who don't have any real substance people. And the fact is,
that's us.
Her being pretty is all makeup because she has like crazy allergies. So like she has to put glasses on, she's all teary, snot everywhere. That's where the name Snotgirl comes from. She meets a girl in the first issue that is potentially going to be a real friend, and then she accidentally kills her.
Oops.
Mm-hmm. And that's the first issue. I don't want to give away much more because the second issue just dives right into that, and like half the issue is her like, I killed someone, what do I do? And it's really good.
Sounds clever.
I just picked up the second issue, and I read the first issue after you recommended it last time I was on, and I went and I picked it up, and the art is, I love the art on that comic.
Amazing.
It's so beautiful, and the story is really, really well written. It's
very engaging. It hooks you. Like I started it like, I'm not gonna like this. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna like this. And I was like 4 or 5 pages in, and I was like, I want to see where this is gonna go.
The dialogue is very cool, really interesting. And then when you're getting into some of the really high profile work, just having had grown up around it when I was younger, especially in some of the modeling aspects. I wasn't a model, parents. But being around it and seeing what people will do to themselves just to keep that job, like, putting makeup on even though you have allergies. Some girls, there will be backstage makeup and they'll take it off and their face will be covered in a rash because there was no other option. Like that whole pain for beauty idea and the vapidity of the whole industry as a whole, and constantly being on edge and constantly looking over your shoulder. I don't know. I found it really engaging.
You get a very, like reading through it, you have a very large sense of paranoia that the character has in the actual book. Yeah. And I see some of you guys saying it sounds dumb, but keep in mind, not every book is written for everyone. It actually was really...
It's true.
And bear in mind, I went into this thinking I would hate it. It was a recommendation, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I'm on a plane. I got nothing else to do but read books.
Exactly. You might as well. You're a captive audience. You got to try it out.
And I really actually did enjoy it. So...
That's cool.
It's surprisingly good.
And if you like Brian O'Malley's work, like Scott Pilgrim, it's in vein with that. Now, someone like Sal, who didn't like Scott Pilgrim, doesn't like Brian O'Malley, you're probably not going to be enjoying it too much.
No, I mean, but I would know that already. I'm not going to start reviewing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might read it just to get an idea about it, but I'm not going to then bitch about it for 6 years.
What do you got against Canadian creators there, Sal?
I have nothing against when they move to Hollywood and become some of our most beloved actors. I have no problem with Canadian creators. Mike Myers, Michael J. Fox, Nathan Fillion, they're all brilliant.
True. It's a good group. It's a good club.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is one that I know a lot of people are enjoying, and I really enjoyed this issue. Titans.
Yeah, this was fun. This was a cool setup. Abracadabra is back, the old Flash villain, and he's from the future. That's where his powers come from. So he knows stuff that happens later in the DC timeline that he's not letting on. And he does this great bit where he makes the new Titans fight the younger versions of themselves. He creates like magical doubles, so they have to fight the Teen Titans versions of themselves wearing their classic costumes.
That's cool.
What I liked about this is, if you've been reading Titans, is they've set up Abracadabra, and I was kind of disappointed in this. They were setting him up as being the guy that altered time and messed up everything. That's what they were setting up. And in this one, he gets away good ways into it, and he's like, "This isn't how it's supposed to be. Did Wally mess everything up?" And you're like, "Oh, he didn't do it. Thank God. Thank God it's that Abracadabra."
That would have been a little bit of a letdown if it was Abracadabra.
Abracadabra was the guy that messed up the DC timeline.
It's like with the Watchmen teasers, all a ruse. It was Abracadabra and his figurine collection.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Friggin' jerk with his jerk magic.
And I like this. Roy Harper's hat is dumb. Yeah. They went from Roy Harper with a trucker hat that no one really liked to Roy Harper with a trucker hat backwards. And horrible goggles.
That being said, they knock the hat off in this issue early on, and he's never looked better. Keep doing that, but keep finding reasons to knock his hat off.
Just have him lose it. Like it's just I forgot to get it.
I feel like they took the two most dated, ugly-looking fashion trends in both nerddom and in basic bitchdom and put them together and slapped it on Roy Harper's head. It's just, when did the trucker hat fad die out?
I swear they're punishing Roy for something. Yeah. Ever since Cry for Justice, they've been punishing Roy for some crime he never committed.
The biggest problem with Roy's hat, I would be fine with that hat if he had a whole outfit that matched. But he always gets a hat that contrasts everything.
Right.
Somebody in the chat suggested that it was to signify that Roy is a douche, so that we can visually see his doucheness.
I mean, it could just be that they don't like the character and they want you to subconsciously hate him.
I guess.
I hate him based off that damn hat.
I used to love him because I love Green Arrow. I'm wearing a goddamn Green Arrow shirt. I hate what they've done to his sidekick over the last decade.
Hey, at least he's a heroin addict again.
Yeah, at least there's that. Banging that China cat.
When I found that out, I was like, "What? Wait, really?"
That's the thing you choose to bring back, not his daughter, not anything else. You bring back the junk. You bring back the horse.
They just really wanted that Neil Adams cover to have value again, because since he's become a heroin addict again, the value of the Neil Adams cover, where it's like, "Speedy, no!"
I own it. It's on my wall. People have seen it. Adam signed it.
The value has gone up.
Thank God.
Now is a great time to sell.
Right.
Alex Stroh is saying he's an alcoholic now. No, he was. In the Rebirth, they've reestablished that he's a heroin addict.
Yeah.
They gave him back that needle and them track marks.
Here's the kicker, though. They didn't kick away his alcohol problem, so now is he a drug habit alcoholic?
You know what's funny? That's actually not terribly far from the reality. When you leave one addiction, you go to another one. Speaking from kind of relative personal experience, heroin to alcoholism is not the widest leap you could make. So it's it makes sense. If he's off heroin, then he's probably on alcohol.
But both now. But now it's both.
Next year, we're going to find out he's really into horse racing, and that's going to be a whole story.
Him being both is kind of excessive, though.
He's got 6 kids somewhere in a trailer park, and he's at the horse races all the time, shooting up in the bathroom.
And the reason he wears the hat is because it was a gift from his son that died at the horse races when he fell into the race.
You monsters!
You know what I would be fine with, though? I would be fine with the hat if he's like, I used to keep my smack up under the hat.
Yes.
Wade just said, next up, bath salts.
Oh, that's a story. Right, Roy Harper versus bath salts.
That brings us to our next Civil War 2 tie-in, Venom Space Knight. It shows Venom fighting Spider-Man on the cover.
Did you like Venom about 20 years ago? Because I hope so.
Is he not a Space Knight anymore? I didn't even read this one. This is one I just skipped right
Okay, here's what happens in Venom Space Knight. Venom's on Earth. And then Spider-Man, like he has for the last couple of for the last year or so, acts like a complete thoughtless dipshit and then Venom and he fight, and it's kind of cool. And the last page image, by the way, the art is rad as hell.
I'm looking
and that
at
last,
it,
that last page is really bitchin', and I'm like, there's no way it's going to be
spider jet.
Yes. And I think that's a joke. Like, I think they're making fun of Spider-Man because it's like, he is so not Spider-Man anymore at this point. You might as well just give the son of a bitch a jet and say we're done with it.
No,
but
Punisher
like,
copter.
Jet.
but it's really it's a rad looking book. It's Venom versus Spider-Man. We're establishing that Venom is going to become a Spider-Man villain again because Spider-Man is just such a jackass. And this is the first time
I'm looking at this issue, and he is a jackass because after Venom has done, Flash has done countless good deeds with it. If I'm reading this right from the quick glances, Spider-Man just shows up randomly and contains the suit.
Yes. Well, he's trying to rip the suit out. He's like, "No, Eddie, you don't understand." Or he's like, "Flash, you don't understand. Like, the suit's bad for you." And he's like, "I went to space and fixed the suit." Yeah. And they're like, "It's like, no, you didn't. I'm not listening." He doesn't even say, "No, you didn't." He's not even listening. He's like, "I got too many hilarious quips to hurl at you." And then the Venom suit tries to assimilate Spider-Man. And you're like,
and I noticed that they tear his suit just like the 90s Spider-Man.
Yeah, they give him like the Todd McFarlane Torment, like torn mouth thing. It's everything that you've wanted to see with Spider-Man versus Venom in the last like 20 years.
I kind of want to read this now.
It's fun.
It
reads really quick. The art's fantastic.
The art looks really good.
And if you think Spider-Man's a total knob, then you're going to love this.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Because he is. He's just a total dweeb in this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
There you go. High recommendations. Did anyone read Wacky Raceland?
Not yet, but we got a special advance copy from our friends at DC Fans, and
I read it.
Tiffany read it, and what'd you think?
Wacky Raceland is great.
It's great. It's cool. It's the best DC Hanna-Barbera title that they make.
It's changing up your entire perspective of a protagonist.
Yeah, because like friggin' Dick Dastardly is the protagonist, and he's a badass, and it's really cool. He's got a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so does Penelope. We find out finally what Penelope's all up to.
He looks like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's cool. If you have to try one of these.
And they're revealing some of the secret this issue.
Oh, and there's some secret reveals. So definitely check it out. It's cool.
All right, well, that brings us to the last issue on our thing, Wonder Woman.
Didn't get it.
I didn't read it. I looked through it and I was like, this looks boring.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think I would be interested. I don't like what they're trying out with the 2 stories at once, alternating issues.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Forgetting and losing interest as to what's happening.
Because this is going to be a really good trade, but unfortunately, the way you have to tell a story that's formatted this way is in a trade when you can read it all in one sitting. Because the jumping back and forth per issue, not per comic, but I mean, yeah, I guess per comic.
It'd be different if it was like page for page or like other ones that they rotate. No, it's per comic. So this is issue 5. So this is the main storyline in the current timeline. The next issue won't continue this. It'll be the story of the year 1 story again.
Yeah.
With the magic scales that make the jet
and
invisible.
She's not a bi-monthly. It's every 3 weeks with her.
Yeah.
So it's a weird release schedule too.
It's it's really, what's so sad about this is that the story is good, but I keep having to reread everything I bought before in conjunction with the next one. So it makes it really difficult to maintain my interest. And you also, with the weird schedule, you kind of forget what happened in the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been trying to ignore year 1 and read that at the end. To keep up with it, but that still means I'm waiting a month and a half to read each part, and I keep forgetting what's going on.
Yeah, it's difficult. I imagine when the trade comes out, this is going to probably be one of the better Wonder Woman stories that's been out in the last few years. But I mean, it remains to be seen, but it's still going pretty strong. But once the trade is out, it'll be a lot better.
Let me ask you this question, Benny. So for this story arc, Wonder Woman is fighting like an evil plant god in some African nation. The dude looked a lot like Evil Swamp Thing, didn't he? Are they just going to come out and say, like, yeah, he's part of the Green, too, but
I
he's
can totally see that happening. I mean, this one pretty much is all about her trying to get Cheetah to team up with her. They team up, and then they go find the team people with Trevor, and they discover that Trevor's there, so they're going to go figure out what's going on.
Because we've all been fighting the same fight this whole time.
Right, one of those deals, so.
Yep.
So, any other books that anyone read that is on our list?
That's about it.
I mean, there are a few other ones that came out. I went through all the ones I read because I know I read the most this week. So I don't know if you guys had any other ones you had read.
No,
I'm good. We actually covered everything this week. Holy crap.
yeah.
Go us. Go team.
Woot.
I got an Also Matsu-san manga, but I don't think anyone cares about that.
I got real. Oh! You need to read the manga Real Account. So a buddy turned me on to this one. It's the general idea of Sword Art Online, where people get stuck into a game, but it's not a game. They get stuck into social media, into a thing called Real Account, which is all social media rolled.
Oh no!
So live streaming, tweeting, all that other stuff. And when you hit 0 followers, you die.
That's crazy.
My
And if
God.
you fail a game,
I'll be back in
if
one.
you fail a game, all of your followers and you die. So
Who is this creepy ass happy face emoji motherfucker right here?
that is what's his name?
When you die, your followers will. Oh, ugh.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy awesome one, and they do things like they have to get more retweets, they have to get more stuff like that, and then Volume 3 completely shifts focus over to another person, and you're just like, what's going on? What's going on in this book?
I'm super into this, especially this little emoji Madoka Magica looking,
Like their mascot is the guy making everyone die, which is like they had a photo bomb con, and it gets interesting too because like one of the things they do is okay, so we're gonna like the bad guy. He's like, so all of you guys who alive, everyone who lived normally has like 3 or 4 followers, family members who won't unfollow them, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
he'll be like, I'm taking all of your phones and we're gonna put a random image from your image banks that you have no say in, and you have no time to delete them, and then the world has to like or dislike it, and you have to guess what they're gonna do for it.
Oh shit!
So like one person put up like one image was like a pudding cup. He's like, I took a picture of pudding because I wanted to know what the flavor was so I can get it again. You know?
Yeah.
But like then another girl took a nude to send to her boyfriend, so like that got a bunch of likes, you know. And then there was another game they had to play, which was you have to tweet something, and if you don't get over 10 retweets, you're gonna die, and all of your followers will die.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, that kind of a thing.
This is social media management to a totally new gladiatorial level.
Oh,
I love
it's
it.
awesome too.
I'm all over this. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get that.
A buddy said check out the first volume, and I did, and I immediately bought the second 2 and read right through them. And it's got like it's a crazy story.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about X-Men Caps fan. It's okay. Not much happens. It's standard X-Men fare. It takes forever to go anywhere. So
Yeah.
I know Sal doesn't read anime manga, so I'm trying to not stay with this very
Not
long.
especially, no.
Oh, sorry. I keep suggesting manga to Sal, like old classics like Cyborg 009 and Hadashi no Gen and like stuff like that. And I'm like, Sal,
we
you
talked
don't
about
even
Titans.
like
Titans
it,
was
so
awesome.
read it.
For those of you guys wondering about Real Account, we're gonna do Volume 1 on the Comicstorian channel in I think about 2 weeks. So.
Oh, well, teaser.
Yeah. So that brings us to the conclusion of today's show. You've got a bunch of books you can go read. We even recommended a manga for you to go read.
There you go.
And I think that's it. We'll just close out without Joel here. Not a big deal.
Yeah,
So,
Joel just left.
yeah, I gotta go, guys. So, guys, I'm Benny the Comicstorian. I'm half asleep today, so if I sounded incoherent, that's why. As usual, the host on the poll. Oh, God. Our Sal from Comic Pop. A chair from the channel Caped Joel. And Caitlin from the Sea Monster. Don't forget, guys, we do stream our podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. And if you come on any other day, normally Monday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday, you'll see video games getting played by me or Natalie or other people on the team. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out all of our channels this week. A lot of good stuff coming out. And we're going to start having some surprise guests popping up in the weekly poll soon. So if you haven't been watching the Tuesday show, you need to start doing that. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Jump on.
That's it, guys. I hope you guys all had a good day. We better go before Joel says anything. Have a good one, and goodbye.